Hello, my name is Ifeanyi Paul Odenibo. I'm a graduate student of computer science at Dalhousie University, Halifax in Canada. Before I start my presentation, I would like to acknowledge my supervisor, Professor Rita Orji, and my fellow researchers in Persuasive Computing Lab for their support and opportunity given to us to improve in knowledge and in research. Today, I'll be talking about a systematic review that we did, which was titled Augmented and Virtual Reality Driven Intervention for Healthy Behavioral Change. Healthy behavior and lifestyle remains the key contributor to maintaining people's overall health and well-being. Previous research considers 5 main types of healthy behaviors, which include physical fitness, drug use, alcohol use, healthy diet, and mental health. Behavior change techniques have been used for decades. Initially, traditional approach like creating posters or radio campaign, etc., were solely used to promote healthy behaviors in people. However, the ubiquity of technology in recent years have made the goal of improving or maintaining positive behavioral health in people to be more effective. Innovative technologies such as AR and VR are useful tools for developing effective behavioral change interventions. VR is a computer-generated digital environment that can be experienced and interacted with as if the digital environments were real. On the other hand, AR is a technology that displays the combination of both real and virtual images, which are graphically interactive to respond to users' input in real time in the real world. This study was conducted because the previous studies which are related to our study were done for domain other than health and wellness. And another reason is that they were not comprehensive enough to cover several aspects of AR or VR-based interventions for behavioral change. And also, they are relatively old considering the continuous and fast-growing research on AR or VR-based intervention in this domain. Our main goal is to investigate the existing work in the area of AR or VR-driven intervention for behavioral change. Particularly, this review investigates the design and implementations of the intervention, the persuasive strategies, the intervention platforms adopted, and the underlying technology that was used. Also, the intended goal, the current trend, and the research gap. We followed PRISMA guidelines to identify related work, and we researched using these popular databases. We also followed the snowballing strategy, where we searched the reference list of the papers selected after searching the databases with the combination of these keywords. We considered papers based on our 5 inclusion criteria. First, the paper must be about AR or VR-driven intervention. The paper must be proposed on health-related domain. The paper must have sufficient details about the system design and evaluation. The paper must be written in English language. And the paper must be published between 2011 to 2021. The figure shows the step of the selection process. 19 papers were considered for review in this study, as has been shown in the figure. We will look at the key results in different sections. First, the healthy behavior types and the target audience. The study participants are a representative of the actual users for the behavioral change interventions. that were evaluated in all the studies. Our results shows that the review studies considered 5 target groups, which is children from the age of 1 to 4, youth from the age of 15 to 30, adults from the age of 31 to 64, healthcare providers, and patients with unhealthy behavioral disorders. Our results show that youths are the most targeted audience with 53%. On the other hand, children is the least targeted audience with just 5%. The reviewed paper focused on 7 different healthy behavior types, which include drug use, smoke cessation, alcohol use, personal hygiene, healthy diet, physical fitness, and mental health. As the figure depicts, alcohol use is the most considered behavior in the paper, while personal hygiene is the least considered behavior. We'll look at the effectiveness of the intervention based on the study outcome. A study can be considered successful when the actual outcome meets the intended design, goal, or objective. Among the 19 papers reviewed, 84% reported that the interventions were successful. 5% considered the intervention to be partially successful because the expected behavioral change outcome was only achieved in some participants, particularly their female participants. 11% have not determined the effectiveness of the intervention because the studies was reported as an ongoing study. Next, the persuasive strategies adopted. Using persuasive strategies in AR or VR driven interventions helps to sustain users' engagement and also motivate them to achieve their goal in the intervention. The results show that most of the 28 persuasive strategies were adopted except the recognition and the third-party endorsement strategies. Trustworthiness was the most used persuasive strategies that was adopted. By category, the figure also showed that the primary task strategies were mostly used, while social support strategies were the least adopted strategies in the reviewed papers. One reason could be that people really want to publicize any unhealthy behavior they are struggling with. Next is the intervention study by country. Our research shows that the evaluation of 18 interventions was done in 12 different countries, with Korea and the US leading with 17% each. Spain and Taiwan have 11% each, while Germany, China, and Canada have 6%, including Australia, and United Kingdom, Switzerland, Japan, and Mauritius have 5%. One paper did not directly or indirectly specify the country where the study was conducted. Next, the intervention platforms. Based on our review, we identified 3 common categories of digital platforms that was used to deliver the interventions. These platforms include mobile, personal computer, and headset. 16% developed their intervention to run on mobile devices. 21% have their intervention running on PC, while 42% developed their intervention to run on headsets. The mobile and headset category involve papers that developed 2 copies of their intervention system to run both on mobile and on headsets, and only 5% of the papers did this. 16% of the papers did not report the technology platform they use, hence they were categorized as undeclared. Next, the intervention purposes. There are 2 categories of intervention purposes we identified. First is the unhealthy behavioral prevention, which can be described as empowering individuals to avoid engaging in unhealthy behaviors. An example can be that one of the papers used AR-based intervention to prevent smoking behavior in children. The other category is known as unhealthy behavioral modification, which focuses on rephrasing or reshaping alternative healthy behaviors while discouraging unhealthy behaviors that individuals are already engaged in. For example, one of the papers examined the effectiveness of using VR game to treat patients with alcohol disorder. In this figure, 43% of the papers are considered as unhealthy behavioral prevention, while 57% are considered as unhealthy behavioral modification. It is evident from this review that while the majority interventions reported their study as being successful, some vital information regarding the studies were not provided, and this poses challenges to us while analyzing these papers. These incomplete vital information include the participant age distribution, their gender distribution, the duration of the study, and the AI algorithm or the ML models that were adopted during the intervention development. Based on the result of the review and the research challenges discussed previously, we identified research gaps and actionable suggestions for future research in this domain. First, most times, the behavioral change process takes time, requiring the target audience to practice such healthy behavior over time. Therefore, there is a need to conduct more long-term evaluations to establish the effectiveness and users' adherence to the target healthy behavior over a long term for a sustained behavior change. Additionally, specifying the evaluation duration should be considered as a crucial data that researchers need to provide to guide future researchers in their evaluations. We recommend that future researchers should consider carrying out a post-study evaluation where participant target healthy behavior is evaluated over time after the study. This will guide other researchers and health experts to better analyze the sustainability of recommending such intervention to a given population or target audience for a long term and for a sustained healthy behavior change. We recommend that future intervention papers in this domain should adequately provide details about the models and the frameworks adopted in their developed intervention. Providing such information will not only help to expand knowledge, but can serve as a reusable model for designing similar intervention. Future studies should recruit a larger number of participants when running their studies in this domain to ensure that more consistent result and real-world validity of the study outcome is established. Finally, our findings show that most interventions targeted youth and people in developed countries. Future research should focus on diversifying the target audience of the research. In conclusion, the key findings of our review includes 1. The review papers focused on 7 main healthy behaviors. 2. Trustworthiness emerged as the most commonly used persuasive strategies, while the recognition and the third-party endorsement strategies was not used at all. 3. The youth are the most targeted audience, while the children are the least targeted audience. 4. VR-based interventions were found to be more common than the AR-based interventions. 5. Most AR or VR-driven interventions were perceived to be effective in motivating healthy behavior in people. Finally, we also analyzed various implementation layers of the reviewed interventions. These implementation layers include the application interface, object recognition and tracking, artificial intelligence and machine learning algorithms, animation, and the user interaction. Details about this analysis can be found in our paper. Thank you for your audience.